tight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution! Brought to you by BlackRifleCoffee.com.
We got it.
We finally got it.
Yeah. Fan fave, one of my favorite actresses. We worked with her a million times. Edi Patterson, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, guys.
Yes.
For any St. James Street James fans, she's Peters.
Right.
For Vice Principals fans, you shot Gamby.
I did.
You shot Gamby. I called it, by the way.
I know you did, and it made me very nervous every time you would say something.
I was like, you fucking shot Gamby. And you never told me.
No.
And you didn't tell anybody.
I didn't tell anybody.
Oh, so you saw the scene.
No. So I watched the movie. It was, the series.
Yeah.
Die Hard fan. At the end of season 1, Gamby gets shot.
Yep.
And that was the cliffhanger into season 2.
Yep.
And I sat there. I was with my wife, and I was like, I fucking think Edi shot Gamby. And then you put up a promo for season 2 on your Instagram, and I was like, it was like, who shot Gamby? And I go, I fucking think you did.
Yep.
And Rough House, who is Danny McBride's production company, liked my comment. So I was like, oh, fuck. There's a subtle hint. I was right. She shot Gamby. And my wife looks at me, Jesse, she goes, she didn't fucking shoot Gamby. There's no way. Her weird character. There's no fucking way she shot Gamby. Sure enough, you shot Gamby.
I did shoot Gamby.
That took a dark turn in that show.
It really did. It got real Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was funny because it was.
Yeah.
Man, why I'm amped about it is, to me at least, there hasn't been a lot of, and we've said this on the show 100 times, there hasn't been a lot of really great fucking balls out hilarious comedies in the last 4 or 5 years. This show broke the mold for me, where I was like, oh, finally,
awesome.
There's something fucking weird and hilarious.
Yeah.
And when you shot the pilot, you would hit me up and you were like, dude, I got a show for you that I'm doing. You're going to fucking love this show.
Yeah.
And sure enough, every Sunday night, I was 9 o'clock, HBO just killing it. Oh my God, when's it coming back on? And now it's off after 2 seasons. I'm sad.
They always wanted to do just 2 seasons because they wanted to do like 2 semesters of a school year. And I think probably, everyone would have liked them to make more.
You could. The story left itself. You could have gone for years with that show.
Yeah. I mean, those guys are so smart, though, that they're just like, they wanted it to just be one awesome thing and not drag it.
And then just move on to another project?
Yeah, totally.
When you say those guys, who are you talking about? You're talking about
Danny and those guys.
Gotcha.
Danny McBride. Yeah. Who's his little crew? Jody Hill? Danny McBride?
So he and Jody wrote the initial thing, which was a movie. And then they just decided it had more to it than just a 2-hour story. So yeah, he and Jody Hill wrote it, and then Jody directed the first season, and then David Gordon Green directed the second season.
And they all did Eastbound and Down together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that they're from like I want to say a small college in North Carolina. They went to like a film school.
Those guys and some of the writers. This dude Jeff Fradley, a bunch of their pals like. On the set who work on stuff with them all went to North Carolina School of the Arts.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy that tiny little college produced that much talent. Rarely happens.
Yeah. I mean, it must be a good school. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess. Look, I live in North Carolina. The only thing I've heard of it, Danny McBride and those guys went there.
Oh, really?
No idea about the rest of it. Super tiny. When you got that role, were you like, holy fuck, I finally got something that this is like...
I mean, I was so stoked because I already loved those guys from Eastbound and stuff. And I have always thought Danny was hilarious from his movies and from Eastbound. And so, yeah, I was beyond stoked because I felt like I would get them too. And I totally did, and they totally got me, and it was just like instantly fun.
That's awesome. One of your favorites from Justified, Walt Goggins, is in it. Yeah. Who's fucking
so good.
So you weren't let down then once you got on the show? Like,
Zero. Like
that was a fun 2 season. Like they were awesome.
They were awesome. I came in hot with my expectations of like, this is going to be rad. And it was way more rad than I thought.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Never happens.
Never happens.
Usually it's a letdown.
Yeah, like usually you're trying to convince your brain, like, hey, take it easy, kid. Just like, don't have expectations. But I couldn't not be excited. And then it way surpassed.
Do you guys improv on a show like that a lot, or is it pretty scripted?
It is pretty scripted, but Danny and I improvised a fair amount because we would always find stuff in the scenes that, even if it was something physical, or there was always stuff changing and growing in it. We never would change like plot stuff when we were improvising. And
Sure.
Like, no big things would ever change.
Yeah, you're just changing words and dialogue.
Yeah, we always left it kind of open, which was so fun, which is my favorite. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If we could start at the beginning, where are you from originally?
Texas City, Texas.
Really?
Great
Yeah.
place.
You know Texas City?
Oh, yeah.
You do, dude?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from
How?
Texas.
Where'd you grow up?
Fort Worth and Houston. Both those two places.
Oh, wow.
Fort Worth, Houston, and then a little bit of Kansas City.
Crazy.
So, yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, unless someone's from around Houston, they don't know where Texas
Yeah,
City is.
Anything.
Spring, Texas, the old Spring Cafe. I remember eating there a lot as a kid.
I've been in Houston twice in the last year on accident. And once my team made the Super Bowl, so we went. And we had another interview down there like 2 weeks ago. The weather is so weird.
Oh, dude.
Right around that area where it was just like a rainstorm would come in.
Houston might as well be a jungle. I mean, it is.
It's like Florida.
Seriously.
It
It's
is.
so
Yeah, why
humid.
why is that?
I
Is it-
guess because it's,
Gulf?
I mean, I always assumed that because Texas City is near Galveston and it's on the water, that I always assumed it's because it's on the water.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it is the most balmy.
So are you between Freeport and Galveston?
It's more like between Galveston and like, I don't know, the close cities are like Lamarck, Santa Fe, Pasadena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how do you come out of a tiny town in Texas with no Southern accent and
I know,
wanting
that's
to
weird.
do comedy, like a female comedy? You had to be the only one in your town.
It's weird. So the accent thing is hilarious because I never tried to lose my accent. But like my mom, my dad, my sister doesn't have much of one, but my family has an accent and my cousins. But I went to school in Texas at Texas State. And when I would come home to visit, I can remember my Uncle Kenny going, "Why are you talking funny?" And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, dude. But I guess it just started going away. And I don't know why.
So it wasn't a clear thing because I'm from Georgia. When I came home, I remember a distinct conversation with my mom at 6 years old. I said, Mom, I'm fixing to go do this. And she was like, whoa, we're from the north. You're not fixing to do anything. So I would have to repeat it back to her. Oh, I'm sorry, Mother. I'm going to go outside and fix my bike on my own. She was like, great. And then she kept saying, when you're older, you're not going to want that accent. And sure enough, she's right.
Wow.
Yeah. Because look, besides McConaughey, there isn't anybody who has a consistent Southern accent in every single thing they do.
No.
Because it's too tough. You can't cast them in shit.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be like at his level where it's just like
You write it in.
people want him because he's him. Yeah, you can't really chameleon out if you can't like not have your accent.
Yeah, I know. So was your dream as a kid? Were you a big SNL every Saturday? Would you want to be on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, for sure I loved SNL and wanted to be on it, but I also I loved anything like that. I loved Tracy Ullman. I loved later on I loved all the Chris Lilly stuff and like I just liked funny things.
I
in
Love
general.
Lucy.
Yeah, I know. You know what? We never were. That wasn't on. Like we had those channels. We didn't have cable, so we had those 3 channels that were like a higher number that showed reruns.
Yeah.
And I Love Lucy wasn't one of the reruns
Really?
that came on. Yeah.
What was your old school reruns?
We had like Brady Bunch. Weirdly like Green Acres.
Oh yeah. In Georgia, we had weird shit like that. It was Little House, Green Acres, and Andy Griffith. Like Griffin, or it was on nonstop.
Yeah.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Beverly Hillbillies. And Gilligan's Island for a while.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
God.
But not a ton of I Love Lucy.
We had Gilligan's.
Yeah.
That's what would be on when I got home from school.
Yeah, my mom was a huge I Love Lucy fan, so like every time
It's awesome.
she was watching that all the time. She was like, "This is the best comedy you'll ever find."
Oh, it's so good.
And it's, as a woman, it's probably true. Like Lucy was
she's
physical
she's rad. Yeah, she was like going for it before anyone else was.
So when you got here, did you immediately start the Groundlings? Because I know you were in the Groundlings.
I had been improvising in Texas, and I started pretty immediately. I went to see a show at the Groundlings, and was sort of like, oh fuck, they do what I like. They do characters.
Yeah.
And so I immediately started taking class there, and I immediately started improvising with I'm with this other group too that we do improvised plays. Like we're in a residency right now at the Broad stage.
Yeah,
and,
you would love this actually because you go like 2 hours.
Yeah,
2-3
with
hour
an intermission
shows.
with costumes and sets,
Full
but it's made up.
improv.
What?
Yo, yeah.
I want in.
I know.
That's right up your alley.
It's spectacular to see. I've been a long time, and I saw it because I follow you on Instagram. I see that you're still doing it. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, that group's called Impro Theater, and we our next style that we're doing at the Broad stage is Twilight Zone, and we do 22-minute episodes. So we do like 4 episodes in a show.
Fuck.
And we try to keep it true to the style of the show, which was 22-minute episodes. And then we do another one, and then we do another one.
Wow.
But you came up with all of those people in the Groundlings, like Kristen Wiig.
Well, Kristen was before me.
Okay.
So she was just like a little
Was Melissa
before
McCarthy?
me. Yeah. They were both like ahead of me.
Sure, in the
in
program.
the company before I was, but I did a couple of main shows with Melissa, and for sure those chicks were around when I was coming up, which was rad.
Who made it out of that crew besides you? With
I mean, dude, I feel like so many people are doing cool stuff. The person I got into the main company with was my pal Mikey Day, and he's on SNL.
Mikey Day's
right now.
in SNL, yeah. Yep.
We were the 2 that got in at that point when I got in. Sheesh, I feel like the list is endless. I'm thinking right now people who were in like who not necessarily are older than me, but were older than me in the Groundlings process of things, and like Melissa and Ben and Jim Rash and Nat Faxon
And you auditioned for an SNL too, right?
I went and tested a few years ago, and it was very crazy because I found out I was going like literally a day and a half before. So it was completely stressful and overwhelming, and weird, like writing on the airplane and trying to memorize and just like fever dream shit.
Yeah.
You know?
And you have to do what, 4 celebrities and 4 characters, or is it 2 and 2?
I don't remember. I think it's 3 and 3 or something.
Yeah. Who were your celebrity impressions?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, we went down this road last night.
Yeah.
There you go.
We had Jonathan Kite, who's a good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
great
he was on
impressionist.
last night. Yeah.
Did he go test at some point?
Yeah.
He had.
And you did too, right, Ross?
Yeah. Because you keep going back.
Mm-hmm.
They won't. If you don't hear a no, they keep inviting you back like year after year.
Sure.
And then once you hear a no, it's done.
Got
it. You're done with that. And,
Got it.
Yeah. When I remember where I was.
I don't know if I ever heard a no, so who knows?
Oh, so you're good. Yeah. You're still
That was
good,
a long
man.
time ago there.
Because look, Leslie Jones is 50 fucking years old.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason you couldn't go back and do it.
Oh, please, yes.
And crush. Like, you would crush on there.
But who knows? I may be working on other stuff. So
But still, like, fuck, it'd be nice to hear a call. Like, hey, guys. Yeah, I was rad on Vice Principal.
Yeah,
you want to give me a little jangle and give me more than a day and a half and I can come in and wreck shit? Who are your celebrities?
Dude, I did the weirdest ones because I had in my head, like, I always liked that, like, Will Ferrell would do old people that, like, people aren't really thinking of. But
obscure impressions. This is what we were talking about yesterday.
That you see it and you go like, oh, fuck, that's hilarious.
Harry Carey.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I did Sally Kellerman, which I'm sure they were all like, what the fuck?
I'm sure there was like a Wikipedia, like Sally Kellerman.
I'm sure people were like not watching me and like
Home Alone?
typing into Google.
I'm going to have to look up Sally Kellerman right now.
It's this woman like from 1970s movies. And
Oh
she was
my
like,
God, yes.
She was like the original Hot Lips in the MASH
She was
movie.
in Back to School. That's a great obscure one. We were doing obscure ones last night that only we love.
Rodney Dangerfield's love interest in Back to School.
Yes.
So what did your rep say when you
That
said
was great.
I'm sure they were just
Kellerman.
like, sounds good.
But I didn't know the name. But the minute you did the voice, it immediately popped in my head. I was like, I know exactly what she's talking
Honestly,
about.
I'm sure it was like game over the second I went. And next up, Sally Kellerman. I'm sure they're like, get her the fuck out of here.
Do Sally Kellerman one more time.
It's just, it's very sensual. And I feel like she says all her S's, almost like an SH. And I just feel like everything to her is like incredibly exciting.
Nailed it.
Oh, who else? Who else?
Yeah, who else did you do? If Sally Kellerman was your lead-in.
Yeah, but that one was my fave. Yeah. Let's see. I know I did Amy Winehouse, which was like, I regret in retrospect. Because I don't even know what that was. It was just like Cockney accent with like some dumb song I wrote. You know what I mean? It wasn't great. Who was the third one? Oh, the third one was maybe like, I don't know, maybe Penelope Cruz.
No way, you've got a Penelope Cruz?
I don't know if I have a Penelope Cruz. But that's what I did. And
Let's hear your go at Penelope Cruz.
It was, let me think. It was basically like sort of a baby voice, but with an accent. And I think I threw a wig on for that one.
Like you needed a wig to complete the Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
Well, your original characters are my favorite because again, I follow you online. Bean Dip was one of my favorites.
Bean Dip was pretty fun.
How would you describe?
She's very aggressive.
Very aggressive. Kind of on the spectrum, I would say.
Yep. Quite possibly. What? Sunburnt.
Oh yeah.
Very like, I don't know, coming in hot. Like it's questionable whether she's like physically clean or not.
Yeah.
But weirdly is incredibly confident, and I feel like fucks all comers. Like, and I think they're happy to do it. Like I think probably fucks the guy at the gas station and then Charlize Theron. It's like a week later.
Yeah, Bean Dip. Can you do a little Bean Dip for Jared? It's one of my favorite characters.
But Bean Dip's just like coming in hot, man. It's like if you want to try to give some advice from me, I'll give you advice because it's like they say, man. If you want to get with somebody, you better have your game face, man.
But you would do it in like department stores.
I did do it in Target once.
I fucking died because I was like, if anybody passed by and saw you like this, because it's like a bob. It's like the haircut's like a bowl cut.
Yeah, it's like men's hair.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
It's the fucking best. And I just saw you on TV the other night. What are you working on right now?
Let's see. I did like 5 episodes of that new Tracy Morgan thing. Maybe you saw a preview for that.
How is it?
A real fun, dude.
Is it? Is he fucking crazy?
I mean, to me, he just seemed like an artist, like a little kid, like totally fucking raw artist. And I loved that I think we vibed super well because he liked that I could improvise, and so he knew he never had to throw the same thing at me.
Yeah.
So I had a fucking blast with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think he's so funny.
Dude.
Yeah.
We need to bring her in on your concept for our special shows. Stevie Beans.
For Stevie Beans,
Stevie Beans?
Well, she was in Darnell Dawkins' Mouth Guitar Legend.
Tell her about this idea.
Yeah, we want to do a whole podcast series of fake like rock stars from the 70s.
That's awesome.
Fake 70s
But not
rock
tell
stars.
anybody, like, flip it, grain it, like skip the
Yes.
footage
Or
and shit.
you've got
but
like
just
your-
drop 10, never talk about it, never promote it,
dude.
and then just leave them out in the world.
That's
And then
awesome.
see what happens. Yeah.
Oh, that's
But we're
so
telling
good.
stories. Like we came up with a story about how one of the roadies accidentally fucking cut his dick off.
Yeah, the Burrito
I
Brothers.
did cocaine through the guy's
Through the guy's dick. And man, like through the through the urethra.
Used his dick as a straw.
Because you still have that tube, and it was just like I needed to hold out the tube.
What was your name?
Fuck, I forget.
Because I was Stevie.
You were Stevie Beans.
Yeah.
But I know we were the Burrito Brothers.
Yeah.
And
That was your band?
yeah, that was the band, yeah. And we traveled around in this van.
The Burrito Brothers.
The Burrito Brothers, yeah. And it was just a tortilla on the outside of the van, no name underneath it. And it was just like, oh.
And we're both from the UK.
Yeah,
Like-
but we're not from here,
Yeah.
but we're the Burrito Brothers. And it's, we were handing out tortillas to fans and shit, signing tortillas. Just the fucking Burrito Brothers. And I think we're going to work on that this fall.
Yeah,
That's
because
awesome.
it's just like
And just drop only 10.
it's just
That's
the
so good.
show is just us recounting our life touring in the 70s.
As this band, and it's a 10 series
And we
thing,
just make
and
it
then-
up as we go.
Yeah,
It's
and then
like,
just leave it,
Great.
but not tell anyone in the world that we're in it.
Yeah.
Nothing, and just be like, hey, and it's just like, hey man, did you guys hit the fucking Burrito Brothers?
Yeah, what is this?
What is this? I don't like. He sniffed it's cocaine through a guy's dick. Like he was snorting it through a guy's dick, and once it started to decay, they formaldehyded it and then plaster casted it. It was like, well, I mean, I didn't want his dick to die too. So he keeps the dick with him.
Well, then it was good luck.
Yeah, and that would be a fucking blast.
And that's it. Like you have her on like
Amazing.
3 episodes as our tour manager.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
these two were a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Did you decide why you're called the Burrito Brothers?
No, there is no thing. Like we had seen a Mexican
Well,
once
he
as a
just gave
child.
me the idea, and I was like, I want my name to be Stevie Beans.
Stevie Beans. but it was one of these things where these 2 British guys had seen a Mexican kid like growing up on the side of the road eating
Yeah.
a burrito, and I was like, oh man, America must be
Yeah,
the
but you're
best.
pacing. You're the drummer.
Yeah.
What you came up with then? Do you remember?
Oh, I remember the pacing of
how
it.
you would just repeat whatever I was doing, and then you'd go off.
2-word answers. That's right. No. Great. Like everything
I
was
guess.
like that. Yeah. All right. I suppose. Yeah, we were talking about obscure impressions last night with somebody else. Those are my favorite, by the way.
Mine too. I love them.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do. But I remember when the last round I went for the audition for SNL.
Yeah, when's the last time you went?
It was 2010. I think was the last time we submitted, and like there was impressions that my agent was like, "It's too obscure."
Got
so I
it.
was just going through the tape, going obscure, and I was like, "Those are all my favorite, man." Like the
Yeah.
other shit, everybody's, those are people you
Totally.
expect.
I have a really good Bert.
You do.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's hear
It's
it.
his- How Bert Kuntz?
Yeah. It's almost identical.
Yeah,
It's
you
almost
could never
identical.
tell.
No,
How on a hunt a mountain lion?
Yeah,
I don't sound
Yeah,
like
Great.
that.
yeah.
Bert,
Really
here's
great.
the thing. Bert does an accent
If
for
you
this
close
show.
your eyes.
No.
But that's his real
Never
voice.
know.
That is not my real
Who's
voice.
talking?
And if you guys are gonna pick on me, I'll get up and walk right out of this fucking podcast. Right now. Don't give a shit.
And I'm taking my Black Rifle coffee.
My Black
with
Rifle
me.
coffee cup with me.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
What's the role you want to play the most? What's your dream role?
Ooh-wee.
Because we've been asking this all week. We're doing a celebrity March Madness of everybody's faves. Steve Howie he wanted to be an action comedian star,
Yeah.
Yep.
action comedy.
I really dig. I mean, maybe as I'm talking, I can get more specific.
Ghostbusters reboot too.
Well, that was a mistake, wasn't it?
I would go. I don't know. I just like really. I like really dark and real stuff.
Same, yeah.
I like stuff that.
Dark and real, like what? Like name a movie.
Well, like if you take Vice Principals, it got so dark
It
and
got-
real
it got
at the
really-
end.
Yeah.
It got really
That-
dark towards the end.
And you were getting creepier and creepier. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, fuck. This would be great in another movie. Like,
Sure.
to really go dark with it.
Yeah. Well, there's something about the way those guys wrote that too, that like, and the way that they filmed it, where you just had to mean what you said. It was all about like doing good acting. You never had to think about like, how do I make this funny?
Right.
Because it was like, just say this like you mean it, even if it's fucking absurd that a person would say this.
Yeah.
And then because you mean it, it's hilarious. That's my favorite stuff.
That's mine too. Like Jared and I were talking after the tiger episode where the tiger eats the fucking trainer inside the school. I was like, boy. Because to me, that series when it started, when they burned down the house, the principal's house,
Yeah.
that's when it started.
God,
That's when the
yes.
show really started for me.
Yeah.
And then the tiger eating that trainer in school, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
There's this show that I love that I haven't watched in a while, but I love it. And they pull off a similar thing. The first season, especially it's this British show called Nighty Night. Did you ever see that?
No.
I mean, it's so crazy, but it's just this like fucking nightmare of a woman, and she's so funny because she just like
Is it on Netflix?
Probably.
Okay.
She just unapologetically like wants what she wants.
It's called Nighty Night.
Yeah. Nighty
And
Night, you're look it up.
She basically wants the guy who lives next door, who's married to a woman with a disease. I forgot what disease she has, but this woman is just like relentlessly trying to like take everything this woman has.
Oh my God.
And it's incredibly dark, but I just like that it's just like they just go for it. There's no apologizing. There's no.
I gotta watch it.
It's great. That first season is great.
Nighty Nights, and it's British.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's so good.
The Brits do everything before us, anyways. Where you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, because they get not afraid. I think where we get afraid, like it's so cool when you watch a British show and you go like, oh my God. They just went ahead and got that's it. They just went ahead and got the funniest people, and
Right.
like it doesn't
happen in
that
America
guy
like
doesn't
that.
have to look like a Ken doll. They just got the funniest guy.
Yeah.
And now through watching like 3 episodes of it, I can fall in love with that guy and his weirdness because I feel like this is my show. Like
Yeah.
I'm watching my thing. But yeah, I feel like they're so good at that, at just putting who's right on it instead of like, well, we've got to give them something gorgeous, you know?
Exactly.
'Cause nobody cares about that.
No.
I think about like, I don't know, Cheers, which I was weirdly obsessed with when I was a little kid. Roseanne.
Yeah.
You look at who was on Roseanne.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
There wasn't an attractive person on
No,
that show.
not at all.
Yeah, but like John Goodman was so weirdly attractive, and like everyone on Cheers was so strangely attractive, and it's because they were funny and awesome.
Wings.
Yeah.
Wings.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a long
That guy's
time.
still working, Thomas.
Yes.
I mean, and a lot.
Yep.
A lot. You know where I could see her on is Rick and Morty. You got me into Rick and Morty.
Yes.
I love that.
Oh my God, that would be great.
You're a huge Rick and Morty fan, and you got
her.
you got all of us into it, and I was just like, oh fuck. So when I was watching it on the plane, I was like, oh, you know what would be great, and this is Edie.
God, I would love that.
Do you ever work with Dan Harmon or any of those guys?
No, I like have friends who know him, and I kind of know, his old partner Rob Schraub, who's awesome. But yeah, I haven't worked with Dan ever. I would love to.
I wonder
Shit.
how many seasons that's going to go. 'Cause there's
As
no
long
way.
as he can stay sober. He's by his
sober?
own. By the way, his own admittance, he's a nightmare. He got fired off of Community, and then he said a bunch of fucked up shit on Chevy Chase's voicemail.
Oh,
That got
it.
leaked to the public, and he was just a bastard to work with. I'm the guy. Fuck everybody. Got fired. Season didn't do well. Came back to Community. I refired him again, and then spun off, and it was just like, all right, this guy's done. And they made a documentary about this whole period.
I saw that documentary.
Yeah. And,
with him doing Harmontown on the road.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. He went out, did a podcast on the road. I mean, we're ahead of him. Wink. So we are. But he did a podcast on the road, and that became massive. And then he comes back with Rick and Morty, this fucking weird thing.
Yeah.
And
But
adults
it's now.
Yeah, but Adult Swim is a network that will take risk, and they don't really care. And especially in animated, as long as you can do your voiceovers and the writing's good, like you don't have to deal with him in person. Great.
Yeah.
But I think to his credit, he's changed and realized like, hey, shit's awesome. And
I mean, he has awesome ideas.
yes,
For sure. Man.
And everybody said he's a nice guy now, and he's back. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I see you working with him. I could see you working with Wes Anderson too.
Dude, me too.
Like, I wish I could take people and pair them up to where they should be.
Yes.
And just give them a thank you card and be like, "Do you're welcome later. Like, you'll see this
Yeah,
later."
man.
Yeah.
Who do you think of when you're like, I feel like at some point I will do something with Wes Anderson. Do you have anybody in your head who you're like, at some point I'm going to do a movie with that guy?
I have an odd
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I really want Nicolas Cage to do this. The sequel. We did this movie called Range 15.
Yeah.
It ended up being like the highest grossing independent of 2016. When we do the sequel, it is written for Nicolas Cage to come in and play my dad.
Great.
As weird as he is, and I know he's doing a bunch of movies for taxes, he's still a fucking lights out actor. And
I agree.
I think if you just put him in something funny that's off kilter and not these bullshit action movies that are going
totally
straight
agree.
to China. He would be great again, same as like a Robert Downey Jr. or whatever. He just needs the right vehicle. However, I don't think he's willing to wait for the money, because in order to do that, he's got to cut his quote way down and say, hey, but I think he owes too much money to the IRS that he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, but man, that would be such a cool move. Because that could be a huge comeback.
And then my last dream is to turn A Night She Cries While He Rides a Sea.
God, that would be so good.
Because the sequel's coming out this summer. Turn that into, there's 5 books total. Turn each book into a season on HBO.
Awesome.
You're in the first book.
Awesome.
She's the gypsy, by the way. She's the gypsy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, who
That's
comes
a
back
perfect
through,
fit too.
You come back through the whole thing, and then just stack My Friends. Have Roger Deakins DP it, so everything is shot beautifully like a Western. Play it all completely dead serious, and then that be the end all be all jam. And I think I'd walk away like Seinfeld after that. I would do 5 seasons, never shoot
awesome,
anything
dude.
again, and then go out like that. People can call me St. James, Street James the rest of my life. I don't care.
on.
And then just walk away, write books, and do podcasts. I'd never do anything else.
And do stuff like your thing you're saying with the Burrito Brothers, where you're like,
Exactly.
here's something.
Here's something that's weird. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Not Beyonce all of it. Drop it that day and
Amazing.
be like, it's out. And that would be my dream. Like walk off the thing and then I would be done and just hang out with my best friends all day.
Yeah, dude, that's
'Cause
awesome.
This is like Drinkin Bros and all this shit. Like, how do you get a better gig than this? We travel all over, get to talk to all of our favorite
The live
people.
stuff, like when we went to Vegas,
We headlined in Vegas. We did a live
headlined
show.
MGM.
In
yeah,
Vegas.
which place were you guys in?
MGM.
MGM.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's where I've
They put us on the marquee.
Yep.
All they knew was just like, yo.
Like on
Yeah.
the strip, we're like,
Yeah.
that's 400 times bigger than a human.
Yeah. That was like some bucket list shit. Where you're
that
like,
theater
that's
is
amazing.
rad.
Yeah.
I used to go with so Drew Carey and a bunch of those Who's Line guys used to do these Super Bowl gigs at the MGM.
Really?
Yeah, and I would go with them. We did it I think I did it with them 3 or 4 years. And that theater's fun, dude. When that theater's packed out, I'm assuming it's the same theater.
It was another one. MGM Grand is super, it's blown up. Like, there's like a fucking mall and shit in it now. Like, it's crazy. The one they had us in faced the casino because they wanted to, then now they're, Vegas
It's right
is,
near the back escalator. So like,
yeah, it's called Level Up or something. And what they do
wow.
is they put you, so they assembled a stage. And the reason being, like, it was right after the Vegas shooting. They're trying to get people to stay in the casinos, and they're like, hey, do you mind if we put you guys on every monitor in the casino and you're going out live?
Oh, wow.
So like you can see all these hordes of people coming off the casino, and like,
How fun.
I mean, there was like 800 people like that are there just drinking, screaming shit at the stage. It's so loud you can't hear yourself.
Oh my God.
And it was 90 minutes, and but all these people kept coming up on stage. Like Randy Couture came up, played harmonica. With, like, Matt Best,
yeah,
and,
because
like,
we had all our instruments up there, so we started playing music, and then Randy brought his harmonicas. So like at one point, like we were just doing like a gong show.
Yeah,
like,
where I was pulling people out of the crowd.
With the
He's
lead
an
singer
accomplished
from All That
musician.
Remains was there. Like there was the guitarist from Breaking Benjamin. Like. The amount of people that were like in the green room behind us of just our friends that showed up.
Yeah.
It was like, we'll put them on stage
It
next.
was a party behind the
how
party.
fun.
And like somebody came up, like we had bottles. He owns a whiskey company called Lead Slingers. So we had bottles of Lead Slingers on the stage, and like everybody listens to or watches the show and they feel like they know us and we're all fucking cool. This guy, I'm 15 minutes into the show, just walks up, taps me on the shoulder from behind, and he goes, hey man, the whiskey. The whiskey? And I was like, I'm sorry, you want a bottle of whiskey? And he's like, yeah. Just give me a quick pull. And I'm like, we're in the middle of the show on stage. You want the whiskey? And he's like,
Yeah, man, we're just hanging out.
Yeah, and he's like, Ross, it's me. And I'm like, I don't know you. And it's like, he goes, but I'm a drinking bro. And I was like, all right, take a quick pull.
Yeah, he's
He takes
like,
a
I know
pull,
you.
And I start drinking after this guy. He could have had AIDS for all I know. Like, and that's the beauty and the fun of all of this shit is
Yeah.
like anything goes and it's fun. And it almost feels like improv. or taking it back to like old school theater where it's just like
it is.
because you get drunk people at your shows, you get crazy shit at the late shows at the Groundlings.
We have never been heckled. Like they don't heckle. They try and insert something, and then you go out and put them on the spot. Like when we did our Denver show and our mostly our Colorado Springs one, that guy yelled something, and you went out. All right, it's your turn.
Yeah,
and he's like,
I didn't really have anything to say.
One guy, we did a live show in Wilmington at this brewery, and the beer was super strong. Craft beer, like all like 10 to 13, like Wilmington Brewery Company. It's my favorite on the planet. And like in the middle of the show, this guy kept screaming out things, and I finally was like, "What the fuck are you saying?" And he's like, "I should be on your show." And I was like, "Great, come on up." So I come up,
have a seat,
and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, "You know what? If you're awesome and rad, crazy sexual experience, go." And the guy starts kind of telling this story, and his fucking mom called. In his hand, and I could see it, and it said "mom," and I go, "Oh, is your mommy
You're
calling?"
like, answer that.
Answer the fucking phone. So he's
it was while he was telling this story about him having a threesome
and getting a disease in Thailand, and I go, "Tell your mom what you just told me right now," and like. He had to, and you could hear the mom going,
speaker, in the mic.
No, Chris.
Oh, Chris.
That's
You are not allowed to come home for Christmas.
Why
don't even know who you are.
Why do you do this to your father?
And then I just look at the crowd, and I'm like, anyone else want to heckle? Awesome. Because Chris and his mom just found out about pink eye in fucking Thailand because he got pooped on by a stripper or whatever the thing was.
Now we're talking.
Chris had it.
Now we're talking.
Now we're cooking.
All
the
right,
bacon.
where are you social media wise? Where can people find you?
Instagram.
Yeah. What's
What is
your handle for all this stuff?
On Instagram and Twitter, Edi Patterson High, and
like HI?
Yeah.
HIM.
Edi Patterson High.
And are you like? Do you like social media? Because now I find that it's so necessary. Obviously,
Totally.
that's because I follow you all the time. Like you should have a bigger fucking.
I'm getting there. I'm getting better on my Instagram. Twitter, I don't know. I
They're
feel
all
like
adding you right now. Yeah,
I'm adding.
Yeah.
Once
Just popping under Instagram, right? The first 3 pictures that pop up, I'm like, this is fucking great. Like, just right off the bat.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
She's fucking
boom.
hilarious. Yeah.
So that I'm getting better. I had like not had anything on there for, I think we actually had a weird conversation about this, but I had not had anything on there. I started it and then didn't do anything for literally years.
Yeah.
And then a couple years ago, I was like, oh, you know what? Instagram's fun. I'm going to do it. But then once I thought Instagram was fun, I feel like Instagram is the most civilized of all of them. And it's like fun to look around.
Yeah, it's like a magazine.
It is.
Yeah.
Pick it up,
And you find
and you just
people.
flip the pages,
Totally.
and it's like, oh, that caught my eye. Let's look at that one.
But
right,
I
so
sort of
there's
let
no-
Twitter fall off when I got into Instagram.
Twitter's a horrible place. Like it's
even
full of like hatred.
Even
and,
Facebook
like,
is getting there. Like
No, that's-
Facebook.
that's-
Oh yeah, Facebook is
Stay away
real
from
dicey.
Reddit and 4chan.
Yeah, and I don't want to read any political posts from anybody at all. Like,
No.
and that's why I'm just like I don't care either way, either
No,
side.
same.
Republicans
I
or
just-
Democrats.
I'm
I
just
don't
like,
care.
let's just look at
living my
funny
life,
things.
living my fucking
Yes.
life. Let's go around the table then. Pick one person that you follow on Instagram that probably nobody else does that you absolutely dig.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Start over there.
The first one who pops in my head is, maybe you guys already do follow her, is the photographer and artist Cindy Sherman. Her shit is
No.
so awesome.
Why is it awesome?
Just her photography anyway is just amazing. And anytime I'm just like flipping through and one of hers comes up in my feed, it's always shocking. Like to the point that it makes me like either do a little shake or laugh out loud.
Right.
Yeah, because her style is so like awesomely jarring and like grotesquely beautiful. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Check her out without a
Cindy
doubt.
Sherman.
Yes.
And it's just at Cindy Sherman?
I think so.
Okay. What about yours? Yeah.
Mine just walked in the door.
Oh, Brandon
Mr.
Rogers.
Brandon Rogers.
Yeah. He's on the next show.
Arguably, like I think this next generation's like director to be. Like he has the most iconic style in his directing and editing that it rivals Guy Ritchie.
Yeah,
but it has nothing to do with his. But it's not saying he copies his style, but he has the most original original style that eventually you will be able to pick out his films and go, ooh, that's a Brandon Rogers film.
Comedically, because I hadn't, you were a huge fan. So we when we checked in a couple of days ago, he was just like, hey man, I want to show you these videos. I had no idea what they were. This fucking guy murdered it. And he's playing like 80 different characters. And he's all talking to himself.
Oh,
and
come
shot,
on. I'm
You're going to have to watch one of these.
Yeah.
Because they are so
and
fucking
I was like,
good.
but they're so wild and weird that it was just like, and brilliant that you're like, what the fuck? And I was like, what is it, like 10 views or whatever? And he's like, no, he's got like 2 million followers. And I was like, how the fuck am I this late to the game? This is the reason I asked this question.
How do I, like, that's exactly what I like and what I like to do. I'm like, how do I not know this dude?
Yeah.
Great.
But
I know
and
now.
when you watch
Now you do.
we watched like 40 minutes worth of videos. Like all in a row, dying laughing with like 12 strangers drinking the other night. And it was just like, holy shit, there is amazing people out
Curtis
there.
Lepore was
Great.
here like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this? I need it.
All of us, it like tore our scalp open, and we were like, you could see the brain moving. We were like, oh, this guy's awesome. But that's why I asked this question, is try to get people known that are awesome. Who's yours?
Mine, and I follow the guy, watch his movies, but Josh Brolin has.
I love Brolin. I follow Brolin.
His Instagram is one post is super profound with an incredible message, and the next one is him and his wife, and she's plucking ear hairs out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just it's the goofiest, craziest, wildest. Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
but his Instagram is the one that I always stop at, and I'm like, how is this fucking guy doing this shit on Instagram? It's just funny, man. It's just super funny. So Josh,
what's yours? Mine is actually on your show. It's Walt Goggins.
His is great.
So, but it's great for a different reason where he just seems, because I love him as an actor. He's one of my favorite actors.
Have I told you the story? My connection to Walt?
No.
Walton. So 2007, got back from a pretty interesting Iraq trip. It was a hard working trip. Got back, and I would just reboot. Like, I would get so much leave saved up in the military that I had 30 days of leave, and I would take it. So I took leave. I would go to like Australia by myself and just rent a Land Rover or something, drive. Anyway, went to Thailand. Got hooked up at the Marriott Hotel in Phuket with a dive trip, and it was kind of the off season, so it was super slow. You sign up for, to go scuba diving, and they're like, hey, we're going to pair you up with this guy. Get in the van the next morning at like 8 o'clock to drive to the boat because it was a boat dive, and I'm sitting there looking at the guy they paired me up with, and they said his name, and it didn't register. And again, the guy was just so laid back and nice and talking to everybody and has this accent. And he's talking about being from Georgia and his mom and this and that. It just didn't register. You meet somebody famous every now and then. And you're like, how the fuck do I know this person? Did I go to school with them? Well, it ended up being Walton Goggins. And he was my dive partner for a bunch of dives on a dive boat.
Wow, that's crazy.
So this gets even weirder. So I got the chance with History Channel to go to the White House last year.
Oh,
and
dude.
staying at the JW Marriott right by the White House, and they said, hey, there's going to be other people from History Channel shows, from 6 that are on this thing. I had not talked to the guy. I took a bunch of pictures of the dives, sent him the emails. We traded emails. He actually eventually on that dive trip had told me, he's like, well, I'm in entertainment. And I'm like, well, you look super familiar to me. He finally said, well, I'm on Sons of Anarchy. And it was like, holy shit, boom, I know exactly who you are. Well, I walk out of the elevator at the JW Marriott to go to the White House with this group of people with History Channel, and he's standing right there, and I had no clue he was going to be there. He's looking at me, and there's conversations going on, and he's with a bunch of actors, and he walks over and he goes, did we dive together in Thailand in 2007? And even better, this is how fucking sharp this guy is. He goes, your name is Bert, right? But the guy remembered my name 10 years later. He's on every big TV show. He's a huge fucking actor. He's going to be even bigger actor. But that was my Walton Goggins story. But the guy literally remembered me after 10 years on a dive trip, remembered my fucking name. And nobody queued him up for this. I had never told anybody at History the story, never told anybody anything, but man, I was super fucking blown away by the guy.
I'm happy you told this story. This is why I follow him, is his pictures. he seems like the most interesting man in the world, where he's on a dive, or he's hunting, or he's distilling gin or whiskey.
Yeah, he's got Mulholland Distilling now. They make whiskey.
Yeah, and he's always like these cool like black and white photos where he's just having a smoke like in a drink, and it seems like he's in Havana one day, and the next day he's at a premiere, and you're like, man, what do you do like all the time? He seems so worldwide, and I enjoy following him, and every post is like love and
totally.
This is the best day I've had.
He is ever. For real cool. Like the idea of cool that I had when I was a kid from like watching high school movies of like, not the like jock that's cool, but like the actual fucking cool guy.
Like the loner
cool.
who is really cool. Where you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the smart one.
And when we went to dinner that night in DC after the White House, and we had met Michelle Obama and went to dinner, and he was just talking, and I'm guessing his politics and mine, if we sat down, probably don't line up spot on.
Sure.
But we got into a conversation about the shows he's on and what you guys do as actors and vice principals. And we just talked, earlier with Steve Howie about it, that, when people in the military are deployed, we don't give a fuck about politics when you're sitting in your bunk watching TV. The two things you have, and JT and I have talked about this, the two things you have when you're deployed is your family at home or your friends, and then TV and music. So when we watch an actor, politics don't fucking matter. I don't care what your politics are. When you're deployed, your escape when you get back from missions and stuff,
the OC,
is music. And
we all watch the
actors,
OC.
and actresses and actors. And I had a great conversation with him about that. And it was like, man, what you guys do, your craft, whatever kind of show it is, when people are deployed, that's their escape.
Right.
Yeah,
and he was
awesome.
super receptive to it, and just a fucking class act, a lot of fun, super animated, fun to be around. Just a good dude.
That's awesome.
I was really impressed by him.
Yeah, me too. Continuously,
just really impressed by how he treats people and interacts with them. And it wasn't just me; it was every single person that night at the White House watching him. He's just so engaging.
He really is, man. And like, it was really inspiring and educational to get to watch him work, and then to get to hang out and, become friends, and like, cause he's that thing you're saying of like, that you guys did dives together, and then he knew you, like he's locked in. If he's in that present moment with you,
and
he's fucking there.
This was almost 11 years later.
Yep.
Walking out of an elevator, and he just kept looking at me. I'm like, man, and I wasn't going to say anything and bother him, and then he's the one that walked over. He's like, we did a dive together in Thailand. Your name is Bert? I'm like, what the fuck?
That's awesome.
Great show. But anyway, Vice Principals, like, your character on that show was fucking phenomenal.
Thanks, man. Thanks,
I love it. It's like,
awesome.
especially how you start to love her, and then you're like, crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is the definition of crazy.
But I'd still do it. Yeah. But no, that's crazy.
That's what I wanted to happen.
That's exactly it. Not to be a creep, but watching
No,
this,
that's
like,
awesome.
She was crazy. But
that's what I wanted to happen, because I love and loved her, and I was like, God, I feel so bad for her, because all she wants is like what everyone else wants. She wants like a rad boyfriend and to fucking party, and like she wants a fun life. So like I always felt bad for her, and so I'm glad you sometimes had like emotions and like feelings for her.
Really well done.
This is the point in the show we get to the Drinkin Bro of the week. It is somebody that inspired you or is influential in your life and helped you get to where you are today. Who would that person be as the Drinkin Bro of the week?
Wowie, dude. That's great. Okay. I gotta go 2 right now.
Okay.
If that's cool.
Go ahead.
Yo, so 1 is my husband, who you know, Dan O'Connor.
Yes. Your husband?
Yep. My husband.
Your husband.
Yes.
Your husband.
Who's just a coming and going, dope, smart, fun dude who I don't know. It's fun. I think you probably have this with your lady.
With Jesse. Yeah.
Like, I know I can be as much of a fucking idiot as I want to be, and I get this weird satisfaction from like him rolling his eyes and going, baby.
We just talked about that last night.
If
I can make my wife laugh just one time.
Yes.
She's so unimpressed by me.
Yes.
That everything I do, that one weird thing where I finally got her, she'll laugh and then she'll be like, you got me.
Yeah. Or if I can make Dan scream and go like, oh God. And I'll go like, yes, I got you. So yeah, he's rad. So I got to give him a shout out. And then the other shout out I got to give to Danny McBee, man. Just like, I don't know, for that thing of like, I only know this phrase in the bad way, and for him I mean it in the best way. You know that thing of like the fish stinks from the head, and like when something's shitty, it's because whoever on top is making it shitty. His is the opposite of like, if the fish is awesome, it's from the head. And I feel like that whole experience on Vice Principals was fucking dope, coming and going, because he has such a rad mindset and is such a smart dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, look, we're all a huge fan of his, that show in particular, you. We've done, I don't know, 5 or 6 movies over the year. It's like, look, and we always chat and hang out and everything, but like, it's good to get you on the show for an hour and just hear about your life and everything else, and continued success. No one deserves it more than you. Edi Patterson, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks, Ross.
For Jared Taylor, Bert Kuntz, I'm Ross Patterson. This is Edi Patterson. Show her some love on Instagram. Go to @EdiPattersonHigh and tell her thank you for being on the Drinkin Bros.
Isn't it crazy we're not related?
I know. I always said I would lie, like if I got super famous, and then you'd be my sister, and then I'd drag you up and be like, that's my fucking sister. You better hire her. We love you. Good night.